A 73-year-old woman just opened her mailbox and discovered her entire financial life is now in ruins. Margaret Henderson's monthly security check, the one she depended on, was just slashed by $441. She found out with a single letter. No warning, no phone call, just a piece of paper saying her benefit was being recalculated. After 8 years of receiving the exact same amount, she was told she'd been overpaid. Now, they wanted the money back. She spent over 2 hours on hold trying to get an answer. When she finally did, the agent told her a correction in her earnings record from a part-time job she worked years ago meant her benefit had been wrong this whole time. They said her employer had been late submitting paperwork. Because of that delay, Social Security was now clawing back the money, reducing her check permanently, and demanding she repay $38,000. She had $400 in her bank account. Margaret is a real person. She reached out to me after watching one of my videos. I had to give her advice that broke her heart all over again. My name is Dr. Ed Graham, and I spent 3 years on the inside of the Social Security Administration as a claims supervisor. I processed thousands of cases, and I watched this precise financial tragedy happen to good, honest people, hundreds of times. Every single time, it was preventable. The rule that crushed Margaret isn't a secret. It's posted publicly. But almost no one understands it, and the agency almost never explains it clearly when you sign up. Today I'm going to show you exactly what happened to Margaret, why this same disaster is about to hit thousands more in the coming months, and the 5 critical steps you must take right now to make sure you're not next. But first, you need to hear the full horror of Margaret's story to see where this road ends. After that letter arrived, Margaret did the math. Her new reduced benefit was $1,431. Her basic living expenses? Over $2,000. She was suddenly hundreds of dollars short every single month. She called her landlord, begging for leniency. The answer was no. She started searching for cheaper housing, but at 73, her options were dangerous or non-existent. She called her children, asking if she could move in. Both said they didn't have the room. She went to her bank, but with no assets and a freshly cut income, a loan was impossible. She qualified for a small amount in food assistance. It wasn't enough. So she started making desperate choices. She stopped taking one of her essential medications to save $87. She began eating only once a day. She turned off her heat in the winter and wore coats inside her own home. Within 3 months, her tiny savings were gone. Then came the eviction notice. She's currently living under that notice, hoping emergency housing aid arrives before the sheriff does. And that $38,000 debt? Social Security's repayment plan takes another $50 from her each month. She worked for 41 years. She paid in. She reported everything. And a paperwork delay from her employer left her destitute. How could a system do this to someone? This is the direct result of the Social Security earnings test. And if you're collecting benefits before your full retirement age while still working, you are in the crosshairs. Here's how it's supposed to function. If you're under your full retirement age, which is 67 for most people today, and you earn more than a set limit from a job, Social Security withholds part of your benefit. For 2026, that limit is $23,400. Go over it, and they deduct $1 for every 2 you earn above the line. The problem isn't the rule. The problem is the catastrophic failure in how it's enforced. Margaret reported her increased hours. She called and told them. An agent noted it. But here's what she never knew. Social Security doesn't act on what you tell them. They act on the official wage data sent by your employer to the IRS. If that data is filed late, the agency is blind. For years. Margaret's small grocery store was 6 years late filing her W-2 information. When Social Security finally got the data in 2024, they hit her with the reduction for every year she'd worked over the limit, retroactively. They treated it as if she'd never said a word. This nightmare is unfolding for thousands right now due to late filings from small businesses, self-employed income reporting, and simple bureaucratic lag. And a brutal new policy is making it infinitely worse. Starting in 2026, Social Security can now recover overpayments by withholding up to 100% of your monthly benefit until the debt is cleared. Let that sink in. They can take your entire check. To show you how devastating this is, let me tell you about David. David was told a clerical error, a wrong birth year entered by Social Security, meant he shouldn't have received his first year of benefits at all. They declared an overpayment and withheld his entire monthly check. For 4 months, he got $0. He maxed out credit cards, borrowed from family, and fell behind on his mortgage before they restored payments. The system's mistake nearly made him homeless. So, who's most at risk? There are 3 primary situations. First, you're collecting retirement benefits early and working part-time, doing gig work or freelancing. Second, you're on disability and attempted a trial work period. Third, you're receiving spousal or survivor benefits and your own work income changed. If you're in any of these groups, you cannot assume you're safe. You must be your own watchdog. Here are your 5 essential defensive actions. Action 1. Verify your birth date in the Social Security system right now. Log into your My Social Security account and confirm it's correct. A single-digit error, like David's, can detonate your finances years later. Action 2. Scrutinize your earnings record every single year. Make sure every year of income is listed accurately. If your most recent year's earnings aren't showing, it's a major red flag that your employer's data hasn't been processed. Action 3. If you work while collecting benefits early, report your estimated earnings in writing every January. Use certified mail. A phone call is not a paper trail. This documented proof is your shield if they later claim you never reported. Action 4. If you get any notice about an overpayment or benefit change, appeal within the 60-day deadline. Do not assume they are correct. Appeals freeze collection actions while under review. Action 5. If you face an overpayment you can't afford and it wasn't your fault, immediately file for a waiver using Form SSA 632. This argues that repayment would cause severe hardship and the error wasn't yours. It stops the financial bleeding while your case is examined. Now let's talk about the 3 fatal mistakes that invite this disaster. Mistake 1. Assuming Social Security knows your income because you told them once. They only know what the official IRS data says whenever it arrives. Mistake 2. Never checking your online earnings record. What you don't know can and will be used against you years down the line. Mistake 3. Ignoring or misplacing official notices. Every letter matters. The 60-day appeal clock starts ticking the day it arrives. The ultimate overarching mistake? Trusting the bureaucracy to protect you. Social Security is a massive machine processing millions of files. It is not your advocate. It does not have your back. When its gears grind and slip, you pay the price. Margaret and David trusted the machine. Linda, another viewer, did not. Linda reported her new part-time job in writing with certified mail. When her earnings didn't show online, she called and insisted on a proactive manual adjustment to her benefit. She got it. At year's end, she received a $43 correction check. No nightmare. No debt. She was her own advocate. So, ask yourself these questions right now. Are you collecting benefits early and still earning money? Have you had any life or work change since you started receiving benefits? Have you checked your Social Security statement in the last year? If you answered yes to the first 2 or no to the last one, you are in the danger zone. The time to act is today. Remember that resource almost no one uses. Your local congressional representative's constituent services team. They can intervene with federal agencies like Social Security. If you're stuck in a loop of automated denials and hold times, this can be your lifeline. Margaret filed her waiver. She's still waiting, still facing eviction. Her only current option is to move on to her daughter's couch, leaving her community and independence behind at 73. This is the cost of blind trust. My final stark advice is this. The Social Security Administration is not your guardian. It is a system. Systems fail. When they fail, you bear the consequences, unless you've built your own defenses first. Check your records. Create paper trails. Appeal every error. File for waivers. Be like Linda, not like Margaret. Your financial survival may depend on it. If this breakdown was a wake-up call for you, please let me know by hitting the like button. It helps this crucial warning reach more people who are at risk, maybe someone in your own family. And if you want clear, unfiltered guidance on navigating these government systems, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I left my job inside the system because I couldn't stand watching good people get crushed by its failures. I'll keep making these videos to arm you with the knowledge they won't provide. Subscribe, share this with anyone collecting benefits, and protect yourself. Because as Margaret learned too late, no one else will do it for you.